okay,
So I just got out of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, or also known as Beetlejuice 2, and my first thoughts are it's pretty good. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, at least. Just a disclaimer before I go on, I didn't write anything down, not that I'm going to be spoiling anything. That said, here we go. So the first thing I'd like to say is I really enjoy the fact that Tim Burton can make a movie in 2024 and have it be a hit like this. The fact that it's a sequel, put that aside. Him as a creative, I like that he can work. This is definitely the biggest Tim Burton production that I've seen, where he's really got to lean into his own style. It seems like nowadays he really knows what his audience likes and how to play to that. That said, I do like when he strays away from his usual style. Here it's really dialed up to 11. You really get to see the full production. I love the lighting. All the effects were done practically. There's very, very minimal use of CG, if any at all, which I think really works for it being a sequel. Like, here we are 40 years later, and we have the same production value as we did back in the 80s by making all the practical effects by hand, using stop motion, and things like that. So I have a lot of respect for going for it and pulling off some very convincing effects and makeup. And for being a sequel 40 years later, this felt like a very strong continuation from the narrative. I was a little bit worried going in that this movie would have trouble finding its footing with the story and how to continue on with these characters after so long, but surprisingly they figure it out. They managed to bring all these characters back with a death that was much needed, with them killing off the real-life pedophile who played the dad in the first movie. So it kind of brings everybody back, and we just go from there. And everybody feels very much still like they did 40 years ago. Everybody still got it, but most notably, Michael Keaton has got it in the bag. I forgot how funny he was in the first movie. He's completely stealing every scene as he did way back then as Beetlejuice. His comedic timing is incredible, especially thanks to the really snappy editing. It keeps things going really well, and we cut from different plot lines at just the right time. Plus, it always did the comedic timing of Michael Keaton. I guess I just kind of seemed to have forgotten that this movie was a comedy, because I found myself laughing a lot more than I thought it was going to be. There's a lot of really good bits, a lot of good timing, and there's a lot of cartoonish humor that I forgot from the first movie. Also, keep an eye out for a cameo or two. I was not expecting the janitor chugging cleaner to be you-know-who. I thought that was absolutely hilarious, but nobody else did. Once again, the movie holds off on really introducing the character until a little bit later, which I think also really helps to pace him out because he's not in the movie a whole lot. Realistically, he probably only has like 20 minutes of screen time, which I think is great because it allows for the new narrative to breathe a little bit better without overdoing the Beetlejuice stuff. I was fully expecting them to go overboard and have him have way more screen time than he ended up actually having, but thankfully he's not in the movie as much, which allows for the main news story to breathe a little bit better, which I really liked. It feels very much like a continuation. There's a lot of things going on in it, and there's a lot of characters that we have to deal with. You got Monica Bellucci playing Beetlejuice's ex who's looking for him. You got Willem Dafoe who's investigating the undead killings in the underworld that she's been doing. You get some really fun lines and line delivery. And Wynonna Ryder's character, Lydia Dietz's new husband, who is just an asshole. I thought he worked great in the movie. His character totally sucks and was very funny to laugh at, and you just hate him the whole movie. And then you got the stuff going on with the human characters coming back for their death. And I was worried with so many different plot lines going on that this movie would feel very jumbled up in what it was and not be able to land the plane as well as it did. But the third act totally goes ham. The juice gets loose, and everything gets justified and brought to a close. I was a little bit worried with the romantic subplot. I was not really sure where we were going with that, and then when I really figured out what was going on, and the narrative kind of took a turn in the third act, I got much more invested in what was going on. Also, this movie sparingly uses music, but when it does, it's very effectively done so. There's, I think, a couple original numbers, but the licensed music is also done pretty well too. And of course, the score is just as good as it was. It's spooky season, it's got spooky colors, it's got a spooky tone, it's comedic, it's fun, it uses its F-bomb, it's a little bit dark where it needs to be. I love that we can get a movie with Tim Burton's visual quirks and have it hopefully be successful, because I thought this was pretty good. In fact, I'm going to give it like an 8.7 out of 10.
Beetlejuice!
Feel free to express yourselves. Don't be afraid.
You're a figment of my imagination.
Really? Is this a figment of your imagination?
Like the video if you did, comment below if you've seen the movie, or if you just want to talk about it. Let me know how I'm doing, what kind of videos you want to see, whatever. I check them. Hope y'all are doing great. Amen.